Welcome to a special edition of my channel where I am now describing my trip to Sweden for Midsommar. And as you can see, I've been to Stockholm, and this is me riding the train here into the city, and it's an archipelago of lots of islands, lots of waterways, lots of rivers and boats and bridges and tunnels, all sorts going on. And it's just a stunning city, especially in the summertime. In the wintertime, a little bit colder, but you can see just how developed and beautiful it is. And I visited some of the most beautiful greenery and parks within the city. A lot of European classical culture and history here. And I visited my family. I visited my brother, who lives in Stockholm, and we then went into the countryside. But look at this old classical European design. Stunning, stunning little side streets, really gorgeous squares and fountains and little places to discover secret parts of the city, which I really enjoyed. So I went in late June, and here I am travelling, as you can see, through the countryside, out of the city, north. And we went all the way to the middle of the country from the south. And it goes on forever. Little fact, there's not many forests in Sweden. There's just one forest. They call all forests the forest, singular. Gives you a sense of just how dense and how much greenery and untouched land there is in Sweden. I just fell in love with it, and you can just see how mild and green and lush it is from my hours of train riding. It's a very big country, very long, and it just goes on and on forever, and there's lots of animals and all sorts of creatures. Where we went to in the middle of the country, there were bears and moose. Moose. And look at those fields. It just goes on, and the sky is endless. I mean, Europe, for those of you from Asia, India, the Americas, you know, there's not many parts of Europe that are untouched, that are more nature than people. But Sweden is definitely one of those unique, untouched places, and you can just see it. Just look at that unending sky. It's incredible. And I really felt at home there. I truly felt welcomed by my family. We celebrated Midsommar, which is this utterly incredible, classic, pre-Christian, going into Christian festival, where the sun doesn't set in the northern sky, where it's a celebration of the summer and of nature and of food. And just look at those stunning lakes. Sweden potentially has more lakes than any other country in the world. Perhaps I'm wrong, perhaps it's Canada, but you get the sense of just how diverse and broken up the landscape is. And like I say, they're incredibly welcoming and relaxed and laid back in Sweden. They're very calm and chilled out about most things, I'd say. So here's a little intro. Hello and welcome to my channel and to a special video of me visiting Sweden, of all places in the world. And would you look at that stunning lake and the little plank and the islands and the stunning nature that is here in Sweden at Midsommar. And I'm here to visit a relative. I have a half-brother who lives here, and he's celebrating with our family here. We're in sort of the center of Sweden, and it's incredibly hot. It's also, because it's the summer solstice time, the sunlight continues. There's no nighttime per se. When it gets to 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's a really unusual experience, and it is so welcome and unique and different from life in big cities, different from what most people, I suppose, are living like. I'm guessing this is a shrinking, rare kind of life. Rural, untouched nature. People living simply, people hunting for food here, people fishing, people boating. And this is much more conducive and healthy for the human condition, I think. And you could just sit here by the lake for hours, couldn't you? I'm here, I've got some other footage to share with you. We're going to celebrate Midsommar. We're going to celebrate the summer solstice, the peak of the summer, as is traditional in Sweden. We're going to enjoy what nature has to offer here. We're going to enjoy good food and company. Very lovely people, very funny people. They all speak English, which is a huge gift for British people. And also, of course, British people don't often learn other people's languages. So it's one of those things. For those of you who watch my Brit Reacts to Bollywood videos, this is a unique insight into how people live in Europe, in the very north of Europe, and in a very different way of life. I hope you enjoy. The greenery went on forever. We stayed in a beautiful farm with wonderful people. There were 30 of us in total, about 10 kids, 20 odd adults. We were slap bang in the middle of the country in a place called Ramsjö, and the lake went on for something like 20 odd miles, or maybe even longer. We swam in the lake, very cold but really refreshing in the sunshine and the heat. We boated, we fished, we went to the little islands in the lake. I really felt at peace and chilled out, especially if you're from a city. To be able to go to the countryside is a real blessing, and to be able to just sit by water and trees to relax under the sky without the noises and the lights and the smells and the air of the city. It was completely different, and it just went on forever. The road continued, and we bought so much food for this festival, huge masses of food, and there was a lot of alcohol among the whole family, and I really felt at peace there. I would definitely go back every year. Whenever I get the opportunity, I'd love to learn Swedish. I'd love to be able to give you more vlogs with people. I'd love to be able to go further north in the country. We literally were only midway up the country. So I would definitely invite anyone who is curious about Europe to see Sweden, because it's an untouched, relatively speaking, part of Europe. And if you've any questions, do let me know. I would love to be able to give you more info according to what you'd like. I mean, you know, I've been doing this channel, Brit Reacts to Bollywood, for quite a while now. And so much of the focus in that has been on Asia and on India and on the people of that region and their specific culture and their geography and their landscape and their music and their art and their people. And I think that this is a different energy, but it's a very calm, chilled out place. It's much less populated. I think the whole population of Sweden is something like 2022 10.35 million. Nothing, isn't it? And so there's food, there's fish, there's animals, there's grains, there's people. Oh, there's people. This is a reflection.
Du förstör hans bild.
Excuse me. I'm gonna drag This is incredible. And I bet it... What time is it?
It's midnight.
Unbelievable. It looks like it's 7 o'clock in the evening.
Har du kommit i vatten?
Ja, lite till.
Too deep. Oh shit.
Kan du dra i min? Kan du ställa ner den på isen?
Oh.
Så drar du.
Oh, nice picture. Oh.
Naughty, naughty. Oh, that's ugly.
This picture will go to history.
Oh my gosh, that's a good picture.
Oh, wow.
And you can see the beautiful classical building designs, really old culture. There's the pole that people will dance around for Midsommar. So there's a sort of pagan influence, but it became Christian, and it's a very old culture. Not quite as, I mean, it's comparable to. I'd be really interested to see how old it is compared to Indian and Vedic cultures and things like that. But it's old for Europe. Let's say that. And you just get a sense of how gorgeously hot it was. It was unusually hot there. People were sweltering in the heat.
Vi kan dansa bom-faderallam, bom-faderallam, vi kan dansa bom-faderallam, bom-faderallam, nej. Vi kan spela fioli-oli-oli, vi kan spela bas, fiol och flöjt. Åt andra hållet, vi kan dansa andra hållet, andra hållet, andra hållet. Kan dansa andra hållet, andra hållet.
This is footage from after midnight, maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, maybe even 3 in the morning, and you just see it's just daylight.
Det var ju 6 år när det gick. Jag kommer ihåg det. Ja, vi kollar.
The smaller you make the doors, the less heat escapes.
Oh.
So that's why we have the really high thresholds, because the cold isn't supposed to get in.
Yes. That's really nice. So it's very good in the winter.
It's less terrible.
And
very good is isolation. And glass fiber isolation and...
Yeah, for those days it was very good.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that fireplace. Ooh.
Yeah, shonker.
That was Daniel, my cousin, my brother from another mother in Sweden. He's really the cousin of my actual brother in Sweden. But you see the sky, just stunning, stunning nature. And I think anybody who can live by a lake in their daily life is blessed. But most Swedes go to this part of the country, wherever their families are from, and they all come together for Midsommar. It's a bit like a kind of a Christmas or a Thanksgiving or some other holiday. But you just get a sense of it. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. And you could just ride a boat. Ride a boat. I think it'd be a beautiful place to film a music video or a film, any part of a film here. I would love to try that out. Penny. And obviously, as good things come to an end, and I had to travel back to Stockholm. And what I found surprising in Stockholm was there were lakes everywhere. In this urban area here, a lake right next to it. I think there's something really special about summer in that part of Sweden. The people are just so warm, incredibly warm, especially considering it's such a cold country in winter. And obviously the countryside that I filmed here would be feet deep in snow from about September through to March. So you really get a sense of the extremes of the weather. And maybe in places like India it's much less pronounced, the seasons, but here it's much more extreme. And maybe climate change or something will amend that. I don't know. Maybe it'll get worse. Maybe the summers will be hotter and the winters will be even colder and snowier. But I think variety is the spice of life. And when it comes to travel, anyone who can go to India and to Sweden and other places is truly blessed and lucky and fortunate, and they're able to see the world. They're able to see the world in all its diversity. And this is why I really wanted to do this video. I don't think it's a complete video because it hasn't got really interviews with people, and I'd like to develop that more. But for the moment, I think it's a nice little sort of vlog, I might say, just showing the country of Sweden to those who haven't been to it and who haven't been to Europe and who aren't familiar with the other parts of Europe. We often see England, UK, or France, or Italy or other places, but we don't see the less populated countries on the edges. So this, ladies and gents, is my tribute to Sweden. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.